Hey, what's up everyone? Brad Chmielewski here with episode 190 of Shatter the Vain. We are getting so close to episode 200. I really got to start planning for that. We're, a little over 2 months away from that if we continue this once a week coming out. There is some really fun stuff happening in Vainglory coming out from Super Evil Megacorp right now and the community. Not only do we have 5v5 launching here very soon, we're getting the early access update 2.12 here in the next day or so, or you may already have it if you're listening to this later. That's the great part about podcasts. You can listen to or watch them at any time. So hopefully you're enjoying 5v5 if you already got early access and you're playing it right now or in the last week or so. So we dive into some of the news we're getting on that. The pre-launch event that's happening February 8th out in San Francisco. I'll be able to make it to that. So if anyone's going to be out there for that event, please say hello. Love meeting everyone, chatting about Vainglory, chatting about beer, anything else you want to talk about. And if you don't know about that event, check it out. It's going to be a great time. There's going to be announcements, things like that. If you can't make it out there, they're going to be streaming it, so you'll be able to hear and see all those announcements on stream. Well, joining me to talk about that and some other events, I have SageGuy joining me. He's putting together this great Halcyon Gathering out in Atlanta. If you're in that region, check that out. Links in the show notes in the description, and we go over what to expect from that. You get some good goodies if you can make it there. And then we dive into some form static. Gonna have to change that topic soon, or that title soon. And then end it off with some of our predictions for what heroes we might see like in the top of the meta here, or ones maybe we'd want to see maybe make a shine here in 5v5 that haven't been getting as much play in 3v3. All right, before we get into this episode, I want to mention the Patreon page. That's over at patreon.com/shatterthevain. I said I was going to do something else with that here in 2018, so hopefully maybe when 5v5 launches, I'm thinking of some different content ideas, especially with the YouTube channel. We're going to be switching that up. That's going to be mainly 5v5 content coming up here soon, so maybe we'll do something with the Patreon page, things like that. Lots of stuff to think about, work on, but if you can support the show in any way, that's the place to do it. I love everyone that listens and watches, even if you can't support the show at all. Like, it's great support just listening and sharing. All right, let's do it. Let's jump into episode 190.
Shatter the Vain.
This is the 190th episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. Every week, try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. Every week, bringing on people from the community, people that love this game, support it. And this week, I'm joined by SageGuy. Welcome.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
We've interacted a few times on Twitter, and you said you've been a long-time listener to the podcast, but for anyone that maybe hasn't seen you on Twitter or hasn't seen you interacting in different places, you want to give a little introduction of who you are?
Yeah, so I go by SageGuy. That's my Vainglory IGN. I've been playing Vainglory since it came to North America. One of the people that was amazed by the iPhone 6 keynote. Kept checking every day to see when it was released.
Right, yeah.
America. Got really into it, and I've had my phases where I'll take a little break. I think we all got to take a break every once in a while, and definitely the hype for 5v5 kind of reeled me back in. So, especially the last month or so, definitely trying to brush up on some of my high mobility heroes there to get ready for this new mode.
For sure, yeah. I think we'll talk about some thoughts on who's going to be big picks here in 5v5 towards the end of the episode. But yeah, you said you took a break. Was that more just like a personal break, or was that like just kind of tired of the game and 5v5 kind of reignited that I guess that fire you had when you first saw it?
Yeah, I think when I take breaks, I just kind of get burnt out on it in the 3v3, and I guess when you play a game, you're just kind of get a little tilted.
Sure, yeah.
I decided just to take a little step back, and I built a PC rig, so I've been playing some games on PC in and out, but for some reason, well, there's definitely a reason, but I always get real back into Vainglory. It seems just
Mhm.
a great game, and the controls for me just feel good, and the community definitely is another big aspect of Vainglory that just keeps pulling me back in.
Right, yeah, you hear that from a lot of people that end up coming back after they either left, they're just like, missing the people that you interacted with, like the community and things like that kind of pull you back in. Although the game is good, I think you sometimes build those relationships that you're like, I just like hanging out here. It feels comfortable.
hmm hmm
Nice. So what what are you most excited for on 5v5? Were you playing other MOBAs that were interesting you, like League of Legends or Dota, that Vainglory is like, now that they're doing this is a big step forward to bring that to you?
I think having a bigger map definitely helps. More objectives and
Hmm.
making the game go a little bit longer. I think the idea of seeing games be able to swing either way. I feel like in 3v3, if two big mistakes were made, that was pretty much like the game, and it was
Right.
hard to come back from that. I think that you're going to see some really interesting matches, and then a lot of hybrid. A lot of these characters, I think you'll end up seeing some stuff where they'll kind of like be hybrids,
Hmm.
where they'll have different roles and be able to have different utility. And I think that's really refreshing for the game is to just change up that same style of play that we've all played hundreds of matches of so far. So
Since
plus
you
the
when you
artwork.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
I'm
artwork
sorry.
looks great.
Yeah,
When you built your PC, or you said you did that, were you playing other like MOBAs on there, or were you playing other games like Overwatch and things like that?
well, I did get into Paladins
Okay.
for quite a while, but I was playing Heroes of the Storm
Hmm.
a good amount, and then I started to play Paragon a good amount. Rest in pepperoni.
Yeah, that just got killed this past week.
Mm, yeah, definitely sad to see that, but yeah, definitely Heroes of the Storm, which is different uh, than like League. This different gameplay style. I guess it's still a MOBA, but no items. I really
Hmm.
enjoyed it because I'm a big Blizzard fanboy as well.
Okay.
So it's just cool to play all those different characters from other games and in this big battle royale, I guess.
Yeah, I have a friend that he plays Heroes a good amount. I think he's back on the Hearthstone bandwagon, but I think he played it because of the characters and who was added to it. Not necessarily that it's a great game. It's a different kind of MOBA because it's all about your team fight abilities and working together, because you can be killed probably twice in the same fight and make it back, because that's just how long things last sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. It's easier to hop into. I've tried other MOBAs, and I guess Smite's probably the only other, I guess, real MOBA that I got into. I think
Mhm.
Heroes with no item building, it's easier just to pick up and get into. Um, Item building and over 100 character hero pool is a little bit complicated sometimes.
Right, yeah, and you've been with Vainglory for so long, you've seen the start of what, the 12 heroes up to the, what, 30, so you kind of have more familiar and you know everybody.
Yeah, it definitely helps. Knowing that you could play any of those heroes and know how to build them and
Hmm.
how to counter other heroes. It definitely helps. I think that's another reason why I like coming back to Vainglory so much.
My problem with that is, then you also remember how heroes used to be, so if you go back to a hero, you're like, weren't they supposed to do this? And then someone will comment or let you know, especially when I post videos on YouTube, like, that doesn't work that way. I was like, Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that's a challenge for content creators across the board. I don't think it's just with Vainglory. It's just these games change so much and they rework so much that it's hard to keep up on some of the changes, and some of your older videos could get irrelevant due to that. I think the
Mhm.
biggest one for me was Scarf's Fan the Flames.
Oh right, yeah.
I remember I took a break and came back a while back after they made some changes, and I was like, it just he's not doing as much damage anymore. Then you go back and read all this stuff. It's like, wow, okay, yeah, they reworked a lot of it.
I think something Vainglory needs to add that I know League has, where you can go to your heroes. I don't know if this is on Vainglory Fire, but you can go and see how a hero was changed from each patch. It's very hard to
Oh,
see where these changes took place, so you can kind of be like, okay, I remember Scarf at that level with Fan the Flames. Oh, it was update. Whatever 2.3 that they did this thing. Oh, and then they reworked it here. It would help you
hmm.
have some context in like how and why maybe it got changed.
Yeah, that's I didn't know they did that. That's definitely something that could be useful.
It's fun
Um,
to then go back like 3 years or 5 years and be like, oh, remember when this hero used to be able to do this?
Always picked, always banned. Maybe that will be the tale of Varya.
Right, yeah, maybe. Well, cool. Yeah, so 5v5 is coming. I know there's so much hype for it. We're like 3 or 2 days probably when this episode drops from that update 2.12 getting released. So there's a lot of good information coming out about this new mode here. We should dive into the news and talk about some of that and some of these changes and a couple of other things that are coming up.
Vainglory News.
So the first thing, 2.12 dropping here this coming week. With it, we're getting two skins, which is a very rare case for an update. Usually they all have four. Sometimes they have three, or if they're in cases like a Lyra or Scarf, they get like four skins each. But this update, we're only having two. We have a Kestrel and a Hearth Alpha skin coming. So this to me means that update 3.0 is coming very fast. There was no reason to put too much extra content like skins when everyone is just excited for 5v5 here. But I think both these skins they look pretty solid. They're both rare skins. I think they had to have skins here. They didn't want to go all out, and I'm sure most of the team is focused on 5v5, developing new art for that. There's a lot of crossover with the teams, although they don't always work on the same thing. An artist that's working on skin animations and stuff are probably working on like Black Claw or animations for the new jungle monsters and things like that. So probably just the resources weren't there for this update.
Yeah, everybody's just working on the Golden Toad.
You're right. Yeah.
That, that's where everybody's efforts are right now.
Mhm.
No,
Uh,
I'm so happy with these two skins. Definitely came out pretty good. I know I'll be comping both of them.
yeah. We got that Kestrel skin was teased around New Year's. I kind of thought it was going to be a Chinese New Year skin, which is coming up, I believe, in a week and a half. So there's been no news from Vainglory about a Chinese New Year event or a red card or a red envelope event this time around. So I'm wondering if they're going to do that this time or if they're going to just focus on 3v3 or 5v5, sorry, 3.0.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that usually they announce like if you can obtain it through an event, but who knows? I'm feeling that everything's gonna get the announcements will kind of come last minute. How do you pronounce that? Is that Kyoto?
Kyoto, yeah, Kyoto. I'm not sure. I didn't hear anybody say it yet, so I usually avoid it until I can say it.
We'll just go with that new Kestrel for now. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it definitely flows a bit with the Lyra skins or the Celeste skins. So I like it.
Yeah, it looks nice. It looks really clean, and it'll probably stand out on the Rise a little bit there. Speaking of the Rise, have you gotten to play in the alpha or any of these PBE testing that's happening?
No, I check
Okay.
my email daily for that alpha email, but I think I just have to hold out till Wednesday. I
Hmm.
think that's the day, Wednesday.
Yeah, we're super close to it. Like really at the moment, if you're playing 3v3, everyone is just I feel like just goofing around. There's not a lot of try harding happening in ranked because it's kind of worthless at this point once 5v5 drops.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Just grinding out for all those extra cards.
Hmm.
Really,
Yeah.
that's been my main thing is just grinding out for cards. To be able to craft some new skins, get some blueprints.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see how all the blueprint stuff works out. We've gotten to some details on how it is and what it is, but until it's in place, it's going to be unclear, I guess, until you can see it work for yourself.
Hmm I know I
You,
did a lot of math trying to prep up for because they didn't announce anything, and it was a guy I haven't seen anything from Fire Tiger 777 put up a
okay.
pretty good breakdown on that on Reddit that matched my math, which is good.
Okay. Uh,
Um,
do you like this new blueprint skin thing, or are you gonna, uh, or would you rather have the current system?
I have probably like around 1,400 common cards that are all going to turn to essence, so I
Okay.
feel good on my essence return there, and I'm only like 10 away from having all the skins unlocked.
All right, nice.
So I feel good about all the cards I'm going to be getting essence for and blueprints. So I might be a little biased that I'm happy with this new system. Um, I guess we don't know what the drop rates will really be
No, yeah.
for essence and how we can obtain blueprints just yet. They kind of gave us a little preview in that article I referenced, but not sure how that's gonna go, especially for newer players. How easy it'll be to obtain these. I think once you get like half of something unlocked in this game, it kind of gets a little bit easier to grind through some stuff because of the duplicates. But just a good refresh to something they've had around for a while because I've never really liked the mixture of the tiered skins with the just straight rare, epic, legendary skins. It's just it makes things a little confusing.
Right. Well, they got I don't want to say lazy, but they got I guess maybe bored of the tiered system with the skins, a few months ago, and they were finally just like, we're just making skins.
Hmm
This is what it is now. So all those like tiered Catherines and tiered petals were kind of like everyone knew like why would I play tier 1 petal when I have space tier 3 petal? So,
Yeah, and some of those earlier ones I still like the rare epics, but I think I can see where they're coming from like the art team's perspective that having to create these three different skins, kind of makes things a little bit more difficult where they can do like one off, just rare skin because they had a theme idea or a concept they wanted to pull off. They didn't want to pull a whole tier system out for it. So
yeah.
I guess I can kind of understand why they did that, and I think this new system kind of brings it all together in terms of just making it simpler to understand across the board.
Definitely. And leading up to 5v5, they're gonna have this pre-launch event happening on February 8th. I'm gonna be out there in San Francisco for this event, and this is basically a community-centric event that's gonna happen. I think there's a party, there's gonna be a stream. I saw Fuji tweet out today that if you're wondering about Vainglory or Vainglory 8 and 5v5, stay tuned for an announcement on this stream. You should have some info. There's a keynote and special announcements, so I'm sure that's there for that.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. That's cool. You're able to go.
Hmm.
I always get a little jealous of those Fuji tweets. I think you talked about that last week too. You hear about them going to the lair and getting some insider information, and it's just like, oh man, I just want to know what they know.
Well, yeah, he works there now, so he knows quite a bit of stuff that people don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely helps. But
Mhm.
yeah, that should be a good event. I was like eyeing a ticket, but I'm getting married in October, so we'll hold off.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little more important than a pre-launch event.
Yeah, yeah.
If anyone remembers, I feel like this is probably going to be similar to the party that they had when the Android launch happened. I know that was a big event. A lot of content creators were there. I wasn't there, but like DZ was there, Fal Ferris. They emceed the event. I think that was the first time we got to see Xenotech like on stage playing Brizzle McFizzle. So that was a big community event. I feel like this is very similar to what that was. What was that? 2.5 years ago.
It didn't feel like that long ago though.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, but this should be a great event if you can make it there. There's tickets. I think it's pretty much open to everyone. It's a no-cost event, but if you can't, be sure to check out the stream. Going to be lots of cool announcements, and definitely looking forward to it. I don't know what these 5v5 show matches are going to be. If they're just going to be teams, or if they're going to be people from the crowd. That hasn't been said at all yet either.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the little unknowns.
Yeah.
That they release out for that. It's very cool of them to stream the event though. Let us all kind of get a sneak peek.
And then this isn't when 5v5 or the 3.0 gets launched either. So it's not going to come the next day. I believe it comes the following week. I want to say I remember reading that February 15th was the launch of 5v5, but I might be wrong on that. But we should be within a week of this pre-launch event and 3.0 getting released. So
Coming quick, man.
Yeah.
Definitely coming quick.
But then leading up to this event, there are some other really fun stuff happening in the Vainglory community, including one you're helping organize. It's the Halcyon Gathering happening February 2nd in Atlanta. What is that? Like, let everyone know.
So I've done one of these before, and it was kind of last minute. We did a Halcyon Gathering here in Atlanta for the World's viewing party, and had a little turnout. This time we kind of had a little bit more time, and they, SEMC makes it pretty straightforward on organizing these. They're pretty good about letting people from the community set these events up and willing to help with pushing it out. But we're doing something in a new esports arena called Versus Realm on the east side of Atlanta, and we're hoping to get a good little turnout, giving away ice, the new Kestrel skin. Everybody that comes out to it's going to get that skin.
Oh, awesome.
I'm going to be giving away gift cards and some hero giveaways. So it's a good time to meet local players. I don't really see a whole lot going on down here in the Southeast as far as meetups. So feels pretty good to be able to, be involved in helping organize, these Vainglory events in my local area. I know Atlanta has a big gaming community, and I've actually met people down here that play Vainglory like out at the bar, which is pretty cool. So
that's awesome. I don't ever run into anyone that plays Vainglory here in Chicago, which is a bigger city, but there's more people that don't play it. I know Halcyon Masters is here, but I don't ever see or run into him.
Oh yeah. It definitely catches you off guard when you find someone around you, especially your age, that plays Vainglory. So we were definitely chatting about that at the bar while my fiance rolled her eyes. It was good. It was definitely good, and these events definitely add on to that. You find more people, and other people wait for this kind of stuff. So I think we've got pretty good amount of people listed as coming out. So it's very very much looking forward to doing this next Friday.
Mm-hmm. And you're gonna have what 5v5 matches happening, right?
Yeah. I know last time we did this was actually the day they did the ticket box, the Opal box, and almost everybody there got one. So I know all those people are coming. So we'll have at least 5 people that have it. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that we can get at least another 5 to 10 people that have early access, so we can get some 5v5 matches going. Definitely a lot of us want to be on the rise for sure if we have the access. So it'd be good to get those going. And I think the whole first day of this, the first week of this, will be really fun because I don't think there'll really be a set meta or like set rotations quite yet. So it'd be good to be local with other people and talk through that.
Right. And there's not going to be any rank added, especially in this 2.12 update. So it's really a free for all, and you're going to be able to kind of get away with just trying things.
Yeah, they were talking about the ELO reset. Like, let's freeze the ELO on the 5v5 during this early access so we can kind of get this down.
Yeah, like there hasn't been any talk on how the matchmaker is going to work or where it's going to put people. It may just, it has to look at your 3v3 ranking, right? Because you can't throw, Gabe Vizel against somebody who's just starting out, who's in like critical threat or something.
Yeah, that'd be a little rough. I'm sure they have something in place to maybe something similar to the 3v3, matchmaker.
Right.
I just, I remember starting out, we're talking about matchmaker. I remember when I started out, I didn't know anything about the game. So like my first 100 games or so probably were really rough. And I think I could tell a difference around 300 games that it was starting to swing a little bit. So I'm wondering how they'll handle that for 5v5. But yeah, it's just being able to play with people locally instead of just in the YOLO queue. Definitely will help.
Well, yeah, I think those first couple, a handful of games, you're just like reading the items, be like, what does this do again? Okay, does this? When do I want the? And you spend so much more time in the shop. That's almost a giveaway. You can tell by any new player or someone who doesn't play a lot. They often spend more time in the shop thinking about what they need to get.
Yeah, compared to Flash X, it's almost a reflex when he goes to the shop.
Yeah.
It's
And they could buy by walking past the shop and things like that. People are just like, I know this game, I know what I need. Let's do this.
Yeah, and then the whole menu. We're talking about shopping. The menu will be switched up a little in a few parts, I guess. I think utility will definitely be switched up a little bit. So
Right.
something else to get used to.
And then and then with those new items like the scout cams and things like that, we don't know if those are getting added to 3v3 yet or if they're only in 5v5. I haven't heard if we're going to see items in some modes and not others. The way people talk, it sounds like they're just going to try to balance collectively at the moment. But I'm not
How
sure.
do you feel? How do you feel about the no more scout traps or flares, and just having reloadable scout cams?
The nice part about having scout cams for everyone when they're just a thing, this is something League of Legends did, I want to say, I don't know, probably 4 years ago now, where they gave everyone a trinket. And everyone was responsible for warding or vision in that game because it relies so much on the captain hero or the support, and people get mad when that person doesn't give vision. So this way, at least you supply that to everyone, and everyone's like, oh, I can help with this. I understand that I should be doing this.
Yep, yeah. I guess it's kind of similar to playing with a flicker on your team. I always tend to get extra flare traps on my own to make sure I'm clearing, those flares out for my support.
Yeah.
So I don't get caught up in that. I think I'll probably miss the flares more than anything because it's so handy when you're playing against a stealth hero and they just disappear on you, and if not having a cam close to you when that happens, it can be a little hard to get used to. But
Yeah, that stuff's gonna be hard. Yeah.
I guess we'll grow and figure out how to place those strategically.
Yeah. Another event that is happening. This isn't a Halcyon Gathering, but it's more of a tournament taking place. Is the Girls and Glory first Vainglory tournament. Registration is now open, and they have to. It's all set by February 9th, and then games start February 15th. and I believe this is only 3v3. If I read this correctly, this isn't 5v5. This is 3v3. I could be wrong there.
No, they can register teams of 5.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like it's 3v3, and all teams must have 2 females
Right.
on the team actively playing, which is very cool.
Yeah, they have to be also verified on the Girls in Glory Discord server, which is put together by Black Dahlia. She used to be involved with Gangstars, and they're pretty strict about like making sure you're an actual girl that's in this Discord server. I think I remember them saying they had maybe one person that got through at some point, but other than that, as far as I've heard, like everyone that they're pretty sure is a girl.
Send us selfies. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure, they have plenty of ways to make sure and talk to people, and just the way everyone interacts is definitely different depending on who you're talking to. So, yeah, so you have to be, if you're a girl, you need to be verified on this Girls in Glory Discord server. There's a link on the registration page, so be sure to do that. Otherwise, they're not considering you a girl, I guess.
Well, I do like seeing this stuff. I know that this is, you don't really see too many females in esports, so I always like seeing, stuff like this to really diversify the, the player base and bringing those out to the forefront.
Yeah.
I know that was a big discussion with the Overwatch League.
Yeah, I was seeing. I'm not a huge Overwatch player or follow that, but I was seeing some of those conversations take place, and yeah, it looked like an issue that they're gonna have to figure out.
I'm not sure if it's like a lack of players, or they're just not being pushed to the front, or what it is, but things like what Girls in Glory is doing, definitely a step in the right direction to bring them out and put them up front, so people know we have good female Vainglory players out there.
Right, and this is similar to if anyone remembers the Femme Fatale tournament. There was a couple of those that took place. I think it's similar to that. I'm sure that a lot of the same people are working on this that worked on that, so they all communicate quite a bit. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes. There's both NA and EU set up for this, so whatever region you're in, well, if you're in those two, you can play. Cool. Well, that's all the news I have this week. I do have a little forum static. I'm going to have to change up this forum static title, tagline here as the forums basically fade away here. But until that happens, we'll keep calling it the forum static.
Forum static.
On the forums, or this one might have been on Reddit. I don't know where I came across this one, but I came across this info that was put together. It's a Google Doc about match times in different skill tiers. So they're using Vain Social's data, which isn't everyone. It's not a true test of the whole community, but it's the test of the people that have used Vain Social and have entered their names, and they can look at it. So it's a fairly good indicator of what's happening. But this was all about the match length versus skill tiers, and like how long you can expect one match to happen if you're in tier 5 versus tier 10, et cetera, et cetera. What'd you think about this little graph that was put together?
I thought it was pretty interesting. It's not something I've looked at before. I think 5 through 9 makes sense. I was really surprised by the 0 to 3, I guess. Like that difference, which I guess the graph makes it look like it's more than what it is, but or less than what it is. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting swing from 0 to tier 4, and then you see that same kind of drop off with the from 8 to tier 10. You see it just start to go back down.
Right, and that, like you said, that change isn't that big from tier 0 to tier 4. It's less than a minute difference.
And this is over a good span of time too. It's 2.2 to 2.11.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of matches thrown in there.
I do think the 7 and 8 being the highest game length time is probably pretty accurate, because that's about the point where you're starting to get very much more knowledgeable about the game. You're being more cautious because you know what's happening and know what you should and shouldn't be doing, that you often take less risks too, because you're like, I know if I go into this bush and I die, that's the end of the game. So we'll play safe and wait for that next Kraken and then fight over that. So I have seen that happen a lot in 7 and 8. And then, yeah, as it goes down into tier 10, if you're watching like Flash X or Xenotech streams, like once that team is winning, they win very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's what I'm talking about. Those it's hard to come back, but it'd be interesting to see this same kind of graphic once we have some 5v5 data too, to see the difference on those. Because I've seen some matches in 5v5 go for a while, I guess, and a lot of it's just the AI stuff. But it seems like 35, 40 minutes seems to be standard.
Yeah,
So far.
I gotta say, I hope it's closer to that 30-minute, because 20 minutes on your phone or tablet is already a long time. Vainglory was set up, they kind of like made it a thing where like you can play this anyway if you're out with friends at a bar or out on the street or like traveling from one place to another, you can get in a game. But now when the game's 30, 40 minutes, that's not happening when you're out. Come on.
Yeah, or you can't sit on the toilet for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
So.
otherwise someone's wondering what's happening in there. But pretty neat to see. You should check it out if you're wondering if your games are on par with other people's games. I know some of the games will go longer, some games go shorter, but yeah, it's neat to see like kind of where you stack up in your skill tier. Cool. All right, then I have a mailbag.
Mailbag.
I teased this in the beginning of the episode about talking about maybe some heroes that were going to be viable here in 5v5 and some thoughts. So I got a question, or someone messaged me about like, you should share your thoughts or opinions on what you think is going to happen in 5v5. I think that's a great topic, especially with 5v5 or the early access here launching very soon. One of the heroes that we talked about in the last episode was Glaive, being this great split pusher. If you're familiar with League of Legends, the top lane is this bruiser, split push kind of person that just goes off and does their own thing. And Glaive fits very well into that. So that makes sense that he could be a hero that we'll see quite a bit in 5v5. But SageGuy, what about you? Any thoughts so far on 5v5 and maybe some heroes that are going to be picked up?
Well, yeah, definitely. I think Glaive is going to be big. It's kind of funny talking about him being off by himself, because his personality definitely seems like that kind of guy. But yeah, definitely Glaive. I'm very much looking forward to playing Koshka and Baron and Rona. 5v5. I think Baron will be good. Be able to jump out of stuff or be able to get around in the late game. I feel like he's gonna kind of be all over the place.
Do you think that's going to be hard for Baron though? Because yeah, like you said, he is a slow hero, and in 3v3 he can stay in this back line and kind of avoid the other 3 enemies. But when there's 2 more on there, someone that could sneak up on him, it could be trouble.
It could be trouble. I see that. I see him jumping over different places, be able to hop around. Maybe that's just the way I play him. I just try to. I tend to hop around a lot on weapon power Baron.
Okay.
Utilize that double auto attack, but
Yeah.
definitely Koshka as well. She's pretty strong right now too. Ever since that rework, you definitely see a lot of her around, and I think she's being as quick as she is. You'll probably see her played a lot, um, so that'll be good. I haven't really narrowed down my supports though on who to see in 5v5. Do you have any thoughts on support roles?
I want to say Zken or someone mentioned how Finn, we think of him being this slow hero, unable to like get to some of these fights, but he's actually pretty viable in 5v5 because of the river, how you get that speed boost if you're moving with the flow of the water. So Finn's able to move around the map a little quicker than you'd expect, and be able to, add fortified health to your whole team, do an AoE stun. I think Finn's going to be pretty solid here.
Mm. Yeah, I wouldn't have even thought. I didn't hear Zeke mention that, but I wouldn't have thought of Finn at all. Really, as being a solid pick there. It'd be good to see him come back. But I feel like you don't see a whole lot of Finn anymore.
Yeah, I think my girl Catherine's she's not gonna be as useful in 5v5 unless you're building a lot of cooldown, getting those stuns off. Because stunning one person in 3v3, amazing. They are usually dead if that happens. But you now have 4 other people to basically jump on you when you get in there to stun someone, and it's not going to have as big of an effect as it does in 3v3.
Yeah, definitely. I can see her silence being pretty good. Silence an entire team. That could be very interesting. But yeah, I'd have to agree that it doesn't seem like you have near as much utility. Just stunning one.
Yeah.
So that'll be very interesting. I guess it would help the solo lanes.
Yeah. But she may become more of just the tank on the team, like her and even Arden, or some of those heroes that are the captains in 3v3. They might just become this tanky front line to basically body block everyone. They're not there. They're there. You build some crystal damage or weapon power. You do damage, but you're just there to soak the damage. Not so much to add utility to the team, just body block.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the show was, these hybrid type heroes that, before they were only played in one role. I think 5v5 it opens them up to be played in multiple roles against, all the different game modes. And that'll be really fun to see and refreshing to see this new take on how you could play all these characters you played for so long and been so used to, and giving them new light.
One of the heroes that I'm interested to see what happens is Lorelei. Right now, according to Vain Social, she has the lowest pick rate in Vainglory, which is very surprising to me because I haven't seen a Grumpjaw in the game in probably a month, and I've seen more Lorelei, but her being pick rate at 2.2% right now is very surprising.
Yeah. I think having the speed buffs, that would definitely be a reason to pick her a little bit more in the 5v5. Maybe going down the river. I don't know if the speed boost would stack with the river speed boost. That'd be cool.
I guess that 2.2% was all patches. In update 2.11, she's 7.1. She is picked more than Grumpjaw. Grumpjaw's 4.4. But still, that seems low to me. She adds a lot to a team, and that speed boost that she has is going to be great in 5v5.
I've seen some good Lorelei's before, but yeah, it's not too common. I really don't think I've seen her played a whole lot since she was released, but definitely, I think people are going to be trying pretty much everything in 5v5, so I really wouldn't be surprised to see a good amount of interesting team comps in the first few weeks.
I know Flicker's been another hero that's been a pretty low pick rate for the most part. So I'm interested to see what happens in 5v5 with these scout cameras, and if he's just going to add this more of a chaos to the map than anything, because it's so large. There's more bushes for him to dip in, get a stealth. look to see where everyone is? Like if he's just going to be this mobile scouter.
Yeah, I think that'll be a lot of it. I don't know if you've been watching the Flash X 5v5 videos that he's been doing, but they've been real informative. I really enjoyed watching those. And he was talking about Flicker being heavy utility and being a good pick, and really stealthy characters in general. I think Flicker would, could be a solid pick coming into 5v5.
Mm-hmm.
Not having flares around definitely makes a difference too. Your whole team goes invisible and they just took out your scout cams. What do you do?
Right. Yeah, I think that the vision game is going to be probably the most frustrating for anyone going into 5v5, especially with these stealth heroes and dealing with that, because we all know how to do it in 3v3 and where to play scout traps and use flares. But yeah, when you open this whole new thing as you're learning and you also have someone that's invisible running around, it gets annoying.
Oh yeah, the good flickers are extremely annoying
Mm-hmm.
to play against. So I'd like to see an unused hero played more, but I don't want to be annoyed. I'll take it.
Sure. All right. So, well, that's some of our, thoughts, opinions on 5v5. It's like you can make guesses all day on what's going to happen, but until we have this update, that's what we're really going to see. In 2.12, although we have early access, I really don't see the meta shaking up or, becoming standard probably until 3v3 is there and everyone gets access to it. I think these 2-3 weeks of the early access are going to be a lot of fun and just goofing around and learning the map, more or less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely going to be a fun week for a lot of us next week.
Cool. Well, that's going to do it for episode 190. SageGuy, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Where can people find out more about you, get in touch, or even if they have questions about this Halcyon Gathering on February 2nd, how can they reach out?
Twitter, definitely best place, at SageGuy VG.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me there, usually tweeting on there, or in game. It's just SageGuy with a capital S and capital G. Cool.
Well, I'll include a link to that in the show notes and the description, so everyone go over there, follow them up. And if you're in the Atlanta area, be sure to check out this Halcyon Gathering. We were talking earlier about the esports arena, and yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, definitely like to meet some more people in the community and hopefully eventually get to the point where we have some leagues going on over here. Cool.
Well, you can follow Shatter The Vain on Twitter at Shatter The Vain, website shatterthevain.com. All the episodes get posted there, links to iTunes, Stitcher, the YouTube version as well. I'll be back with episode 191 next week, and then we'll have that pre-launch party. Hopefully put out some video from that event, or maybe record episode 192 from there. I'll have to see what my time's looking like. But yeah, that'll do it. Thanks for listening.
Let's get this over with.